Many of you have perhaps heard me talk about some of the research I've been doing recently about predicting thinner response. And this is an apple tree. It's not a Christmas tree, but this is the way we tag our spurs and try to get follow the history and growth of some of these fruit. But we have been working with this for quite some time, and our goal is to be able to predict a thinner response within 6 or 7 days of the time you put a thinner on, so that you will have time, still during the thinning window of opportunity, to go on for another thinner if in fact it's needed. And we have over the past few years been extremely successful at this. The keys to making this successful are: we have to number individual fruit in a cluster. And that may be 4 or 5, and then we monitor these or measure these at 2 or 3 day intervals until we feel it's an appropriate time. And right now we think that 5 or 7 days or 6 or 7 days should be enough. The second thing is we have to predict which fruit will persist to harvest. Now, that may seem like a pretty daunting task, but actually it works out to be relatively easy, since it's the fastest growing fruit are the ones that stay till harvest. And our prediction is based upon the fact that if a fruit slows growth to 50% of the rate of those fastest growing, we know it will drop, and it will drop. And it may not drop for 2 or 3 weeks, but just that slowing of growth is enough to enough of a signal to us to let us know that that fruit will drop. Now, it's quite a bit of work to do something like this. This particular experiment is trying to determine how many spurs we actually have to measure to get a good prediction, and it's working out to be about 80 to 100 in order to get a good prediction of the thinning response. But it's a process that you can't use yourself because it's too time consuming. But what we are doing right now is developing a spreadsheet so that you can put all of the information that you need directly into this spreadsheet, and it will come out with a number that with our explanations will tell you whether you've gotten there or whether you have not. And so we hope to have this ready for you next spring, so that if you're so inclined to measure fruit, we think that you will have you will be able to predict what kind of a thinning response that you do in fact get. So you'll be hearing a lot more of this later on, and we have been successful in predicting to within sometimes right to the very percent, or sometimes only off by 3, 4, or 5%. There's one little caveat that makes it a little bit more difficult, and that is every year it's hot, it's cold, it's whatever. It's never the same, and we're looking for 6 or 7 days. But in cold years, it takes a little bit longer. And from the work that we've done the last 2 or 3 years, we know if you accumulate 120 to 130 heating degree days with base 50, after you put on your chemical thinner, that's all you need. The thinner will work, it will manifest in growth, and at that point you can make your prediction. And so you will not have to make nearly as many measurements as we do. So that's very briefly what we are doing. Any questions?